Welcome to my April 10th video update. I'm really liking this NextBit Robin Android phone that I bought that I'm not using as a phone. I'm just using it really to learn more about Android and get familiar with apps that people who are using Androids use to record video and to edit video. So it's been fun doing that, and it's turning out to be a pretty neat little gadget. My experience in the last couple of weeks has also pointed out the value of online support groups. I've mentioned Florian Reichart before. He's the young man who recommended this phone. That it was just a little bit over $100, and he is also one who has consistently provided me with suggestions on apps to get, and if I run into problems, giving me possibilities of ways to troubleshoot those problems. And Bernard Lil and several other people on a Facebook group for Mojo, which is mobile journalism, and one or two other groups. So that's been very helpful in getting familiar with a completely new device to me and software that I was never familiar with. I'm finally, kind of landing on a collection of apps that will serve my purpose in trying to be more familiar with Android video related apps and be able to recommend them to students in classes that I teach. So that's been very good. And the other thing is, as I said, I'm not using this as a phone, so I don't have it loaded with a lot of different apps like I do my iPhone 7 Plus. But with the apps that I have loaded, I still have like 21 gigabytes of space to store video. So that's really very handy. And as I mentioned before, I believe, the quality of the video on this is really quite good. And I'm using it to record my own personal videos when I'm doing stories and so on. I went to a local historic site here in Lynchburg last week, and I recorded some clips of the grounds of this particular site. And I'll put a link to that in the description below. Now, I said the video is good, and it is. And in some ways, it seems to be a little bit better than my iPhone 7 Plus in some situations. But here's a very short clip of the same scenes in our backyard and garage, taken with both phones at the same time. So let's take a look at that. So you can see, it does produce decent video. But the whole idea of capturing video on the Android phone and then wanting to edit it on my iPad Pro brought up a new problem. How do I get the files from this Android phone to my iPad Pro? When I'm recording with my iPhone 7, as I am now, iPhone 7 Plus, I just simply airdrop them over to my iPad and it's a piece of cake. I could also use that SanDisk flash drive that I've shown you before. But so this was a problem, and I went to those who have helped me before. And when I posted the question, Florian came right back with several suggestions, as did a few other people. And the one that I've kind of landed on is called Send Anywhere. And Send Anywhere, you get an app for both the iOS device, in this case the iPad Pro, and the Android device, and you just send your files across. You have to be in the same Wi-Fi network, so if you're in a place where there is no Wi-Fi network, using that little SanDisk media drive provides me with that common crossing point for the files to go from one device to the other. When I was looking at apps that folks had suggested, I noticed PhotoSync came up in the Google Play Store. And PhotoSync's an app that I've used on my iOS devices for years. Before AirDrop really was as good as it is now, PhotoSync was the way I would transfer files from, say, my iPhone 7 Plus or whatever I was using at the time to my iPad. But it's also available for Android. So with PhotoSync, I just run the app on both platforms, send the files over that I want, and that's it. With Send Anywhere, you have, when you start the send process, it creates a code, and on the other device, you have to enter that code. That's a little bit of it's another step. It's not a big deal, but PhotoSync's just seamless. That's great. And in this whole process, I'll do a little more extensive description and step-by-step in a future photography and technology tools episode. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep playing with my Robin. Thank you very much for checking in, and I'll see you next week. Oh, wait, one more thing. I am using my Purple Panda microphone with the extension cable on it, so that we'll see how that sounds. And I'm also using a new device that I got, an upgrade to my Olympus recorder. And it's the Olympus LSP4 recorder that a viewer recommended to me. And I've got it here on a stand. In fact, I'm going to move it over to show you. I've just got it on this tripod, my old Lollipod. And it's just off camera, and so I'm recording with that as well. So we'll see how the sound is with that. It's kind of like having a microphone right here on a stand. All right, this time for real. Bye. Thank you very much for checking in, and I'll see you next week.